In this video, I'm going to cover a client interaction on Auberon Woods I had with a wonderful client who's going through the new construction process right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're going to talk through her emails. We're going to learn all about, choosing the right lot. We're going to learn about a big question that she asked. She was concerned about the type of person moving into Auberon Woods. Was it a quote unquote cheap neighborhood? Now, for those of you that don't know, Auberon Woods has homes from, in the high twos, maybe 280s, all the way up to $550 plus $1,000 with tons of options, up to $90,000 in options. So yes, there's a wide range of homes in there. Well, how does that factor in? Does that make it a cheap neighborhood because there's homes at $550,000 and there's homes at $284,000? Well, that's a question that we're going to get to the bottom of, and you want to hear that answer in this video. Now, we're going to actually dive into what she was really asking that she might not have necessarily realized. We're going to talk a little bit about HOAs, the infamous HOA. This buyer, coming from Massachusetts, living on 4 acres in a custom-built home, it's a big shift to move to the beach to an HOA. So we're going to dive into how HOAs protect appreciation on the back end of your investment. And yes, your home, for many Americans, is your largest wealth builder. So it's very, very important you understand how an HOA protects appreciation on the back end of that purchase. We're also going to dive into a little bit of lot selection. And I'm going to share with you emails on the screen that you can see where we go back and forth talking on email about what she's interested in, what she's concerned with, and working through all those details in her process so that you get familiar with hiring a buyer's broker to help you navigate new construction in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, guys, I don't want to hold us up. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into the video now. If you're thinking about buying a new construction home in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this video could completely change where and how you buy. Purchasing new construction is all about the deal, and having a solid buyer's broker could be the difference in you building wealth with many of your fellow Americans or making a decision that costs you thousands from day one. Because not all new communities are the same. Builder incentives vary, financing options differ, some neighborhoods hold value better than others, and the amenities that actually matter to everyday homeowners can change from one community to the next. In this series, we're taking you inside new construction communities across Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand, from coastal neighborhoods to fast-growing inland areas, so you can see how they really compare before you make a decision. We'll break down builder incentives, lot purchase and resale strategy, new construction versus resale comparables, and work through your floor plan resale potential. Not only will you see the out-of-pocket expenses to purchase the property, but you'll also get a full breakdown of your first year annual home expenses. We'll take a tour of the on-site amenities, and I'll show you local points of interest that will impact your daily life, like schools, shopping, golf, restaurants, grocery stores, medical, and even highway infrastructure. But we're not just talking about this from a desk. You'll hear directly from on-site sales agents inside each community as I interview them as your buyer's broker, paired with on-location video so you can actually see the homes, feel the neighborhood, and understand the pace and personality of each area. We'll compare communities side by side in each area so that you can see how this community stacks up against the rest of the market, and decide if you can get a better deal elsewhere or if the premium you're paying is really worth the cost. Remember, the biggest wealth builder many Americans have is their primary home. And I'll help you size up this deal to ensure that you'll be able to resell this new construction home, keeping hard-earned money for you and your loved ones. Whether you're a first-time buyer, VA and FHA buyer, growing family, upsizer, newlywed couple, second home buyer, investor looking for a stable new construction rental property, or a retiree, I'll help you find the best community that meets not only your needs, but also positions you for long-term value and resale. By the end of this video, you won't just know what's being built, you'll understand why some communities stand out, which ones fit your budget and lifestyle, and where buyers are getting the most value today so that they can make the most at resale. So whether you're relocating, upgrading, downsizing, buying your first home, or planning for the future here in Myrtle Beach, this series will give you the clarity and confidence to make a smart move. All right, guys, so as you can see on your screen there, I got an email from a new client I'm working with in Auberon Woods on a new construction purchase right here in Conway, South Carolina. Now, she said in the email, "Hello, I'm sorry if this email is a little scattered." Listen, guys, don't worry about the email being scattered. Just send the email. That's the first step. All right, so my husband and I are strongly looking into purchasing in Auberon Woods. My brother and sister-in-law live there, and we would like to be close to them. We currently live in MA and want to move down sometime over the next year, probably next June. But we would be open to moving sooner as well, or putting a deposit down for a lot that is a little further out build-wise. I want to make sure we get a great lot. Now, first thing I want to say is two things. One, she's not afraid to move. She's not afraid to pay a deposit and get the process rolling, which is great. In other words, everything doesn't have to be exactly perfect before she executes. She's doing it in such a way where she's not going to stress herself out, which I really, really enjoy. And I find a lot of clients that are moving should work to build a position in the deal where they can afford to pay a deposit, kind of handle things, and not be so stressed out that they have to move or this or that or the other, and they're up against deadlines. It makes the process not enjoyable. It keeps you stressed out. And to be honest with you, you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're up against a wall. In other words, if you sell your home and then you're going to buy this new construction home and you're kind of living temporarily somewhere, and that can create complications. If you handle this well in advance and get the ball rolling on this side of the deal, on the new construction component, maybe before you've sold your home and stuff like that, it just puts you in a better position to navigate these waters a lot easier. Now, I'm just saying that's smart. Now, something super cool was her brother-in-law lived in the neighborhood, which is great. It gives her a support system nearby, which is always a huge plus. Now, she said possibly next June, but we would be open to moving sooner as well, or putting a deposit for a lot a little further out build-wise. It is very, very smart to buy a to-be-built home rather than excuse me, let me backtrack. It's smarter deal-wise to buy an already built home that's active inventory than it is to buy a to-be-built home, for the simple reason that then the builder is under pressure because the home is already built, so he is more likely to give you a lot better incentives and a lot better deal because the home's on the market already and built, and it's costing him money to keep it. So just so you know, I'm not trying to discourage you from doing a to-be-built from the ground up. I think that's awesome. If you want to do that route, absolutely go for it. For sure, I hope you do that. And, rightly so. However, if you're a person that's looking for the best deal and finances are a major factor or major influence on what you're buying, well, the homes that are already built, that's where you're going to be able to put the builder under the most pressure. All right, now, I want to make sure we get a great lot. Let's stop and talk about lot selection. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. All of these homes become commodities after enough time. The lot is the differentiator, and that's important because of resale. Honestly, when you buy the home in a new construction, a community, you're buying resale potential. So for many Americans, it's your largest wealth builder. You really, really, really need to get the lot strategy right, the lot selection right, in order to win when you buy a new construction home. You want lots that are waterfront. You want lots that have privacy. You want interior lots that are tucked away with open space, larger lots so the homes are not right up on top of each other. You want the most desirable and most scarce lots in the community because those are the ones that are going to have the highest resale potential. It's just that simple. Lot strategy is super, super important. There are lots that you should buy and there are lots that you should avoid. You want to avoid lots near drainage or near easements. Now, again, the flip side of that is if you're into the deal and finances are very, very important for you, typically the lots that you should avoid are the lots that the builder knows are not going to be easy to sell. So you can very easily put the pressure on the builder and demand higher incentives and a better deal if you go after a lot that's less desirable if finances are the more important thing for you. So it's kind of a two-sided coin. It's not just so simple as avoid these lots. Depends on what your goal is. Now, yada, yada, yada. I want to make sure we get a great lot. Good job. Good job. I spent the weekend in Auberon and fell in love with the alder plan. I also like the Harbor Oak. My brother owns one. I walk through many and have copies of the layouts and site plan. She's active. She's getting it done. She's figuring out. She's learning everything. Now, I'm trying to get my hands on a list of standard features, upgrade cost, as well as photos of the color palette selections and new pool projection. She reached out to me because she needs those things. I'm reaching out to a representative on site and getting all that for her. Now, the advantage for the client is this. Number one, the agent doesn't really have, the buyer doesn't really have to pay anything to me. The builder or the seller is going to be the one paying my fee. Now, she's got me going to work for her, putting a little distance between her and the representative so that, one, she can negotiate stronger without the pressure of a face-to-face confrontation with the representative because I'm going to be doing that for her. So she can kind of hide behind me and make her demands, and I'm going to go in there and fight for her cause. Additionally, she's got another pair of eyes looking at the circumstance. Oh, what about drainage? What about pooling water? What about the fact there's a massive electrical box here? What about, XYZ? She's got somebody with another set of eyes in her corner giving her feedback on her own decisions and also keeping the representative accountable in the process because it's to my advantage that my client wins. Now, all right, I want to make sure we get a great lot. I spent the weekend, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get my hands on a list of standard features. By the way, I did get her a list of the standard features, and we started to work through that list. She's an options girl. She likes lots of options and upgrades. All right, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get my hands on a list. I forgot to take pictures of these when I was there. I'm looking for a realtor. We have built our last couple of homes, both builder and custom, so I'm familiar with the process. I would like someone on my side to help navigate and hopefully help us get some incentives and a good deal. That's why you hire a builder's broker, guys, because you want a better deal than just what the representative is telling you. And by the way, let me be honest with you, personal experience. I had a representative, basically tell me to, not stop me at all from buying a lot that was in a floodplain. That rubbed me the wrong way. I was expecting the representative to look out for my best interest, and she was not stopping me from pursuing a lot that was in a floodplain. And it was a new construction community. My wife and I were doing a little shopping, and to be honest with you, I did some research and found out it was in a floodplain, and I got pretty upset. So, you can't trust what the representatives tell you necessarily all the time, guys. It is to your advantage to have a person, a buyer's broker like myself, in your corner helping you out. I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone else. I wouldn't want someone to buy a property in a floodplain. I wouldn't. I don't want that for you. The representative that was helping me didn't stop me from doing it. Now, did I buy that lot? No. The point is, I want to do that same thing for you. I want to stop you from making a dumb decision because you're unaware or because the representative you think is looking out for your best interest, but actually they're just trying to get a sale. Let's be honest. All right. We have helped build our last couple homes. I would like someone on my side to help navigate and hopefully help us get through some incentives and a good deal. We'll be coming down in July for a week. I would like to know if there are any other communities nearby that we should look at. Our budget would be under $550,000. We're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, possibly okay with 2.5 baths. From my research online, it seems Auberon is the most cost-effective. Auberon is a very cost-effective neighborhood. I need a local, honest opinion of the community. Of course, my brother loves it, but I'm used to MA prices, and I'm concerned with the amount of cheaper homes in the development. Does that make it less desirable? Great question. Now, to be honest with you, it doesn't necessarily make it less desirable. They're building out a lot of these communities now with different sections of the overall community having different priced homes. There'll be homes in the 300,000s, homes in the 400,000s, homes in the 500,000s, all kind of geared together. Now, is it probably going to be easier to sell a home, you know, that's a waterfront lot, that's got a premium, that's a $500,000 home, compared to a $300,000 home in a low tier, you know, with no lot premium? It's probably going to be easier to sell the more desirable place, in my opinion, and you're more likely going to get a premium for it. Now, will it take longer to sell a more expensive home? Most likely in our market, yes. Will the cheaper home sell faster? Probably. So, you know, there's a little bit of, you know, there's a little bit of a science and an art to it. So they say don't buy the most expensive home in the neighborhood. At the same token, you got to really get into the context of what they're building out there and what's available. If there's only 16 homes in the neighborhood of 1,000 that are waterfront with privacy and they're on interior lots that are massive, those homes are going to be scarce. So they're probably going to demand a premium, and they might not, you're more likely to get a premium. They might take a little bit longer to sell, but they're still going to be in demand. Now, we have also spent some time looking in the Somerville area, and as much as we liked it, it's a little busy and pricey for us. Are there any communities that have bigger, nicer amenities similar to Summers Corner, Next End, Kearney's Crossroads? Sorry to throw so much at you in this email. I look forward to speaking with you. Now, here's the deal, guys. Let's address her last question there. It's a little busy. Are there any communities that have bigger, nicer amenities? So we started diving into her question a little bit more, and the options that we kind of ran into was, well, one, Waterbridge is an excellent place that has an excellent on-site amenities, hands down. The pool is phenomenal. I mean, like, it's next level. It's probably got some of the nicest amenities, period, in Myrtle Beach, I would probably argue. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go on the channel and watch the video where I walk through all the on-site amenities in Waterbridge. Now, basically, she was considering Crescent Cove, another neighborhood in Myrtle Beach. She was also considering Carolina Forest in general. Now, Carolina Forest is almost built out. It's a master plan community of over 35,000. So it's a rather big place, but it is almost built out. And kind of what that means, guys, is there's not a lot of new construction still going on in Carolina Forest. Carolina Forest itself is a little more inland than Auberon Woods. Now, here's what that means, and here's how that kind of shakes out at the beach. The closer you get to the coast, the closer you get to the beach, I should say, the less home you get for your money. In other words, homes are more expensive and you don't get as many features, as much bang for your buck. The further away you get from the beach, the more home you get for your money. So Auberon Woods is going to be 30, 35 minutes away from the beach, as where Carolina Forest is going to be 15 to 20 minutes away from the beach. So a home that's only 15 minutes away from the beach is going to be pricier and probably not give you as much bang for your buck. And when we started getting into those details, she was leaning more towards the Auberon Woods community because she got a lot of options and a lot of upgrades and a lot of bang for the buck. And in Massachusetts, this client lives on 4 acres, and she's used to custom-built homes. And she's used to kind of being out a little bit outside of all the hustle and bustle. So for her, it was advantageous for her to get a home 30, 35 minutes away from the beach because that's more of the feel of what she likes in general. And so those are things that you have to work through. Do you want to be near all the tourism and in all the traffic, 15, 20 minutes of traffic, not like major city traffic? Or do you want to be a little bit further out and be able to drive into town maybe on the weekends when you really, really want to do maybe Broadway at the beach or Barefoot Landing or some sort of event or show or go to the beach and stuff like that? That depends on you, and that's a personal preference question that you alone can answer. Now you can see my reply email there on your screen. Excellent to hear you're interested in new construction at Auberon Woods. To be near your family. Having family nearby is a blessing. Yes, choosing the right lot is the difference in having solid resale value, faster resale time, which is liquidity, and better enjoyment while living in Auberon Woods. I'm just going to say that again because I can't drive that point home enough for many of my first-time new construction buyers. Yes, choosing the right lot is the difference in having solid resale value, faster resale time, liquidity, and better enjoyment while living in Auberon Woods. It's just that simple. This is a decision you must get right from the start. Now, because time is on your side, you're not up against a wall on a moving deadline, we stand to get you the best deal. It sounds to me like you're in the best position possible with the builders, which I like. Super important, guys. Can't stress that enough. If you have the ability to pay the deposit on the new construction, get the ball rolling before you sell your current home, you should do that. You don't want to sell your home, have to move out, be up against the deadline, have all your stuff somewhere, living out of a hotel. That's complicated and stresses you out. I don't want that for you. That's why you pick up the phone and give me a call. It's 843-360-1737. Now, I'm currently closing another deal in Auberon Woods this week and have a contact, Elizabeth, who will get me the list of standard features, upgrade costs, photos of the color palette selections, and the new pool projection. I specialize in getting you the best incentives so that you'll walk away with a solid deal. No worries there. Very smart to have someone on your side throughout the process that represents your best interest and gives you feedback, even if the feedback is something that you may not want to hear. Now, guys, got to stop here for a second. It's super, super, super important that we have the type of relationship where I can be honest with you and you can be honest with me. Now, I'm not saying push an opinion on you, but I am saying have a buyer's broker who can honestly share their opinion with you and you will listen and think about it so that you don't step in a pitfall, so that you don't step in a hole. It's just that simple and it's just that easy. If there's not that open level of communication between buyer's broker and client, then I don't know why you hire a buyer's broker. So you have to listen. If I'm raising my hand and saying this is a red flag, let's pick up that rock and look underneath it. Let's dive a little deeper. And that's how we successfully get you where you need to be so that you have the highest resale potential and you get the best deal and you don't get your face played, which is what I want. I want you to win. Timing the market matters just as much as picking the home. Understanding end of quarter and end of year builder pressure, knowing when to target inventory homes versus to be built opportunities, and recognizing early phase versus late phase pricing can dramatically change your outcome. I believe financing is where deals are truly won or lost. Interest rate differences, temporary versus permanent buy downs, choosing the right loan type like VA, FHA, or conventional, and knowing when to use lender credits versus builder lender incentives can impact your payment for more than the purchase price. I believe when all of these elements are aligned correctly, you're not just buying a home, you're engineering a deal that works for you on day one and positions you to win again at resale. If you're still early in the process, start by watching a few more of these community breakdowns. Then when you're ready, we'll build your strategy together. And if you want to make sure you're not overpaying, missing incentives, or choosing the wrong community, reach out. I'll help you compare the entire market and structure a deal that works for you and not the builder. Call me now at 843-360-1737 and let's map out your strategy the right way. Now, the rest of that email says, I'll get an agenda built for your July visit and get that over to you. What are your dates for the July visit? As far as you're concerned about some of the lower priced homes in the development, that's actually a very fair and smart question. My honest local opinion is that Auberon offers strong value for the price point, but like many larger master plan communities, there can be a wide range of home values and finishes throughout the neighborhood. That doesn't automatically make it undesirable, but it does make lot selection, section selection, upgrades, and future surrounding inventory much more important. The buyer who tends to do best long-term are usually the ones who carefully position themselves within the community rather than simply choosing the lowest price option available. In other words, if we're strategic in the home and lot you choose, you should be just fine regardless of the lower priced homes in Auberon Woods. Now, I want you to pay close attention because in the next, excuse me guys, my tie's fighting me. In the next email that she sends over, she really dives into the real thing that she was asking back behind her question. I can't wait for you to see. All right, here we go. So she went on to say, that sounds wonderful. I really appreciate the help. I'm not necessarily concerned with the resale value based off of the cheaper homes. So that's what I thought she was asking at first. I'm more concerned with the type of people who are purchasing in the neighborhood. Dumb. She's concerned about the type of people that are purchasing in the neighborhood. Now, I'm going to stop real quick and tell you two things. First thing I'm going to tell you is, number one, everybody's all against HOAs, right? No, HOAs. HOAs tell you what you can and can't do. I don't want somebody telling me what I can do with my home, yada, yada, yada. Listen, you got to think about this in terms of dollars and cents. An HOA is protecting your appreciation on the back end of your investment. In other words, if there was no HOA and anything went, then it would be like the Wild Wild West. You'd have people working on cars and changing oil and having junkyard in their front yard, and it would look horrible, and the home values would drop, and new buyers wouldn't want to buy in that community. It's just that simple. An HOA is protecting how well you can sell your home in the future. So I know that you don't want people telling you what to do, but those same people who are part of that community are protecting the community and your future interests so that you can make as much money as possible when you sell that home, and you can move into a larger home for you and your family, or you can pay for your kids' college because your home appreciated $200,000 or $300,000, hopefully, potentially. You can never guarantee future profits, but there are stories out there like that where somebody, their home goes up $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and they cash in. Now they can go on that dream vacation or that honeymoon they couldn't go on last time. Or, excuse me, I don't want the wind to crush my mic here. Anyways, sorry. So the whole point is appreciation and HOAs. Auberon Woods has a solid HOA, right? Most likely, hopefully. There's 1,000 homes being built out there. I'd hope they have a solid HOA. The people in the HOA are protecting your home. They are stopping the wrong thing from happening in that neighborhood so that your values are protected. It's just that simple and that easy. So with regards to her question about the type of person moving into the home, I think that's really an HOA question. And she's not recognizing, most likely, because she lives in Massachusetts on 4 acres. She's not used to HOAs. And she's concerned that she's going to move somewhere and her neighbor's going to put a junky car in the front yard and be a mechanic that is changing all the neighbor's oil and working on vehicles, and she's not going to have a nice, beautiful home that she can resell and make money. Or she has to walk outside and see an eyesore every single day after she's, spent $550,000 on a home. Nobody wants that. HOAs are a good thing. They protect your daily life, the quality of your life in that neighborhood. Now, can they get annoying? Yes. Can they do silly stuff? Did my HOA recently complain that our trash lid was up? Yes. Like, in other words, the trash was stacked up in the trash can and the lid was cracked open. and they complained about it and told us that they'd fine us. Now, I think that's a little bit too much, obviously, but you got to take the good with the bad. The whole point is this, guys. HOAs, that's really the question she's asking. Am I going to enjoy the quality of life I have in that community? Is my investment going to be protected? Is everyone going to be required to an orderly, peaceful way of life? You know, and I'm not going to have to worry about the appreciation on the back end of my investment. Now, can we ever guarantee it's going to be orderly and a peaceful way of life and there's going to be peace and quiet? No, we can never guarantee those things. At the same token, we can see that HOAs do protect appreciation on the back end of the investment. Now, it's just that simple. Now, this is what I want to say about her question. From what I've seen so far, Auberon Woods appears to attract a lot of primary homeowners and move-up buyers who are looking for newer construction, more space, and a quieter residential feel compared to some of the denser entry-level communities. The pricing, floor plans, and upgrade selections naturally tend to appeal to buyers who are investing more into their home long-term rather than strictly looking for the lowest price point. So I think that the way that you need to think about it is twofold. One, there's an HOA that's going to be enforcing the rules and protecting your property's appreciation on the back end of the investment. Two, this is not entry-level homes. These are people that are buying homes and putting tons of options into their homes and upgrades and all kinds of stuff for the long-term benefit of a great quality of life and an excellent home. So I don't think she really has anything to worry about.
I believe without independent representation, buyers don't compare other communities that may offer better value, miss opportunities with stronger incentives or better timing, and often accept default structures on financing, upgrades, or lot premiums that may not serve them long term. I believe most buyers are guided to focus on the home itself, when the real decision should be about resale, long-term value, and how the deal is structured from day one. I believe when you have the right broker in your corner, you're not just choosing a home. You're comparing the entire market, structuring the deal strategically, and positioning yourself to win both now at purchase and when you sell. Before you make a decision, let's run your deal the right way. Compare incentives, financing options, and timing across multiple communities so you know exactly where you stand. And even if you're already talking to a builder, it's worth getting a second opinion because small changes in structure can mean thousands of dollars in difference. Call me now at 843-360-1737 and let's break down your deal the right way before you move forward.
All right, so let's finish her email. It says, I don't want to build a home in something that's considered cheap neighborhood. My husband and I are in our late 30s. We started our family very young. We have older children, 19, about to turn 17 and 13. So I'm very curious about the demographic in Auberon. Since I'm coming from a custom build, I'm going to probably want most of the options available. I can tell you that right now. Haha, I'm an options girl, but I don't necessarily know what options are available. But having done this a couple of times before and knowing myself, I'm probably going to want most of them. She's with a crying face there. When my brother and sister-in-law bought their house, it was already being constructed, so they didn't have much of a choice. So I look forward to hearing back from you with those options, colors, and price points. Blah, 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 blah. I also wanted to ask about other communities that might be close by, but a little nicer. I did go by the Next in Style community by Market Center. That was a little too tight for me, but was curious about Crescent Cove or potentially something in Carolina Forest. I definitely plan on checking out all of these communities when I come down in July. I want to see everything before I make a final decision. Now, all right, so let's just dive into the process, guys. Very simply put, I got her a list of upgrade options. She's looking through those upgrade options. She's very excited about having a gourmet kitchen and all these kinds of things. Yes, you can get a gourmet kitchen in Auberon Woods. It's great. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. Crescent Cove. Crescent Cove happens to be a little bit more inland than Auberon Woods. which puts her in the middle of all the hustle and bustle or closer to the hustle and bustle of Myrtle Beach. That is something that she actually does not want. So Crescent Cove is kind of ruled out. Now Crescent Cove is by Pulte Homes. If you haven't seen the video on Crescent Cove, Pulte Homes, definitely go check out that video or those videos for sure. I met with a great rep out there, Michael Scales. He answered a ton of questions. The homes are absolutely stunning inside, very, very nice. And Michael is a firm believer in the quality of Pulte Homes. He believes it's a phenomenal product that they bring to market, not just a cheap production home. Now, all that being said, Crescent Cove wasn't going to work for her. Carolina Forest, there really wasn't any great new construction options that were catching her eyes. I think there were only about 18 new construction listings total in all of Carolina Forest. And then anything else that she was wanting was going to be much higher in price. So we kind of ruled out Carolina Forest. Ultimately, the big driving factor is her family's in Auberon Woods, and she likes the idea of being about 30, 35 minutes away from the beach.